their spots or the rosettes, the
Yeah, that
stains
they
of
have
the leopard.
stains.
They
Yeah,
have
in the
stains.
yeah, that it helps them to as a camo. How do you say it?
Camouflage,
Camouflage.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. They
and it's
they
beautiful.
they normally stalk. Yeah, they're very very beautiful. They stalk their prey behind the bushes, and what you say is correct. Their spots, or they call them actually rosettes too. The rosettes that they have in the body, in the skin, in the fur,
Hmm.
it works as a camouflage. That's exactly correct. That's exactly right, Mickey. Well, let's read a little bit about instincts, how they are a vital part of our survival capacity. Okay, so let me share the screen with you for a moment, Mickey, please. And let's read what it says about instincts and why they are so crucial in our survival efforts. So can you please read this?
Yeah, instincts are innate, automatic behaviors that are crucial for an organism's survival and reproduction. They are hardwired into the biological makeup of an organism and are often a result of evolutionary processes. The flight for survival is a fundamental concept in evolutionary biology, and instincts play a significant role in helping organisms navigate and respond to their environment in ways that increase their chances of survival.
So basically, what is the fundamental, what is the crucial part of survival of instincts, Mickey? What do they help you to?
Mm, well, I know that these instincts are developed through generations. Obviously, it's like uh, um, how can I say it? Well, their bodies or
Evolutionary
their bodies
process.
or the organisms uh, normally through generations develop um, certain instincts to protect the species or to protect themselves, and this instinct helps them to respond to the different uh, dangers that are in their environment,
Threats.
threats. Yeah, and obviously that increased their chances to of survive.
Of survival. Exactly right. That's very very important. So one of the main aspects, as you correctly pointed out, is the self-preservation, right? Let's see what it says about self-preservation. Thank you very much, Mickey, for the comment. Let's read this about self-preservation, please, Mickey, can we?
Yes, self-preservation. Many instincts are centered around ensuring an individual's own safety and well-being. For example, the instinct to flee from danger, the startle response, or the instinct to seek food and water are all geared toward individual survival.
Yeah, what do you think about this?
Mm, well, obviously, I think that all species in their instinct wants to preserve during generations, during a long period of time, and well, it's to be honest, it's incredible to see how so many species develop this instinct depending on how the environment is changing. Um to be honest, I'm not pretty informed about this, but I have heard that, for example, the how is it giraffe? The giraffe? How can you pronounce the jirafa?
Giraffe.
The giraffe. I think that uh, through different generations, their I don't know how to say it, their neck increase to reach
The height
the
of a
the
tree,
height.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
and and there's a lot of species that obviously have shanked to adapt to the new to the new environment or the conditions of certain environment.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's a very important comment, and that's very true. You adapt yourself to the environment. Do you believe that some species have had to emigrate from one place to another? For example, talking about the leopard in itself, which is a feline that I admire very much.
Hmm.
According to a documentary that I was watching last night, the
Hmm.
leopard has the capacity, if one of the prey escapes, he doesn't starve to death. He goes to a different prey. So he can
Hmm.
eat baboons, he can eat chimpanzees, he can eat crocodiles, he can eat antelopes, he can eat hyenas, he can eat almost all kinds, but not buffaloes because they are too big and too sturdy, too big, too muscular, right? So buffaloes are too sturdy for a leopard, but they can be a prey for a lion, absolutely. Now,
Hmm.
they can also have the capacity to escape rapidly. For example, if a lion is chasing a leopard can climb a tree very quickly because the paws can clang to the trunk of the tree very easily, and so it is very easy for a leopard to escape from any dangers, as well as being able to capture prey in a matter of seconds. And this is, as you correctly pointed out, Mickey, is an evolutionary process. So it's just
Yeah.
amazing. Let me look up this documentary. I sent it to you. Is really, really impressive how it works. Um, Another aspect is the reproduction instinct that animals have when they are mating other species. Let's read this, Mickey, please. Can you?
Hmm. Reproductive instincts related to reproduction, are critical for the survival of a species. The drive to mate, care of offspring, and protect one's genetic lineage are all examples of instincts that contribute to the continuation of a species.
Yeah, one of the fascinating things that I saw from these videos, for example, the leopard, the mother leopard, leaves the cub in the den. Right, the den is a place where the cub is more or less protected. So she needs to go out to look for food because she needs to feed the baby, the cub.
Mhm.
Right,
Mhm.
but then the hyenas are lurking. The hyenas are checking, are stalking because they
Mhm.
also need to eat. Right, so if
Yeah.
the mother goes to look for food for very long, and the hyenas or other predators smell the the the, the baby, they're gonna kill him and eat it, right?
Mhm.
And many leopards have lost many kids throughout generations because of the need to look for food, and it takes too long. So normally they place the cub in a protected shelter, normally a burrow where it's protected from other animals from climbing, for example, in the top of a tree, or normally in a den which is hidden because of old trunk of trees, etc. So it's really, really fascinating to see how they protect their offspring when they look for food because they need to go away, obviously, right? So it's
Yeah.
just amazing that you observe nature, Mickey, and you learn about humans a lot just by
Yeah, of course.
analyzing. Yeah. Now, another topic which is important is this of social instincts. Let's read about this, Mickey, please. Can we?
Social instincts. Humans and many other species are social beings, and social instincts have evolved to facilitate cooperation, group living, and protection against external threats. These social instincts can enhance the chances of survival by enabling collective defense, resource sharing, and cooperation for common goals.
You can see this in the herds of buffaloes, for example. They protect themselves against lions when when lions want to hunt.
Mhm.
Buffaloes are always in a herd all together. What analogy can you make with humans, if we can any at all?
Yeah, I think that obviously there are a lot uh, of aspects that humans and certain animals share in a way. For example, one time I saw it was a little video, and in this video shows two penguins. One penguin was older than the other, but the issue here they mentioned that one penguin, uh, he his couple passed away. I think that I don't know what happened, if was hunt or what, I don't remember exactly. But the older penguin stay with the other penguin just to make like company, and they record for a long period of time. It shows in the video that past days, and they stay together. And I think that's for the same, because they want to be part of a group. And sometimes I think that penguins just have one partner for the rest of their lives, and that's why uh, they don't look for another partner. And it's amazing how other penguins just try to include the other penguin just to try to form part of the group. And and yeah, there are certain things that I think that we have in common with animals. And obviously we have in common that if we see a threat, we sometimes try to protect our community of the different threats, and just to survive. It's a way to preserve the different species, and our species too. I think so.
Very true. Very true. Absolutely smart comment. Now, which threats do men or humans face in general? For example, let's talk about threats. Now that you mentioned the word threats, and these very real, very true threats that humans face as different groups. And when we talk about social groups, you can say, well, what social groups? The community, my street, my colony, the cluster, my home, my
Mhm.
schoolmates. So there are many, many, many social groups, and you move from one to another almost unnoticeably. It goes unnoticed that you move from one group to another, right? So when we talk about threats, Mickey, uh, can you please give an example of any group that you like?
Yeah, for example, mm, something that stands in my mind is what happened in Acapulco. And I have seen that in different uh, natural disasters. And normally, the people of the community, or apart people that is not of the community, try to cooperate to solve certain problems. Um, for example, 2 days ago, I went to visit a friend of my family, and she lives in a, well, not in a in a safe community. And she mentioned that normally the same neighbors of that community knows what people is the people who normally steal, or the people who normally damage the community in general, and they protect themselves to that people, and they identify the people. And for example, she told that, for example, if she is not in the house, normally always is someone of the community taking care of that house. Obviously, probably not staying in that house, but just looking, seeing if everything's okay, or if it's something weird, call the police or call the other neighbors. And yeah, I think that there are certain things that we normally do uh, as a group, and trying to protect the people of that group.
That is very nice. It's a feeling of that creates a strong bond, and this bond can last intergenerationally, for example.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. What you're saying is truly amazing, because this reminds me of a family, the Avila family in Leon, for example. The grandfather, Mr. Arnulfo Avila, was a friend of my grandparents, paternal grandparents. I didn't know my father's father. I didn't know him because he died when I was 6 months old. But I knew my grandmother, and she talked highly of this family. Then the next generation, it was a lady by the name of Patti Avila, I think. Patti Avila. She was a fantastic lady who helped an uncle Memo, right? She helped my uncle. Uh, she was an accountant, or gave my uncle a recommendation for him to get his first job. And then a grandson of this gentleman, Mr. Arnulfo, his name is Beto. He is my friend in the university. I think he also knows your dad, and yeah, he knows him. And but this was We lived together because he was from Leon too. So this friend of mine also lives with me, and he became a great help for me during hard times in the university. So he was also a great companion, and it's amazing how three generations of this family could help our family so much, right? So that creates a tremendous bond that when anyone in the family says a name of this family, we speak about them with huge respect. The reason being that intergenerationally, for three generations, they have all helped our family in a way that only friends can do, right? So it is amazing how this can survive generations, Mickey, what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's just amazing. Well, um, now you flight or fight, right? That's what they normally say. Fight or flight. When do you choose which? When do you fight? When do you flight? So here is the two choices we normally have in a critical situation. Well, some people freeze, which is the worst, right?
Hmm.
But no, is not the best option. Actually, is the worst if you freeze. But well, let's read this, Mickey, please. Can we?
Yes, fight or flight response. This instinctive psychological and psychological reaction is triggered in response to a perceived threat. The fight or flight response prepares an organism to either confront a danger, fight, or escape from it, flight, both of which are strategies aimed at ensuring survival.
Yeah, that's a critical decision. Actually, it's a decision that you make, and you have seconds to that for to do that. Which are the elements that you check in a situation? I'm gonna have to fight, or I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
flight. Right? How do you choose?
Well, this is something that uh, makes me think about how our organism works. But for example, I have seen videos that uh, normally people who is in a difficult situation, in a situation that you need to respond in seconds, how people respond, and I think that it's obviously caused by the adrenaline that they feel in that moment, and I have seen how people survive in different scenarios, and and yeah, and in occasions they have to fight. For example, one time I saw a, a video that it was it was like an assault to a to a mother and her child, and this girl, I don't know how she reacted, but with a strength that is difficult to believe, because she just like she moved her arm, and with their strength she moved the knife that the other people has to assault her, and then she she ran with her baby, and other people helps her in that moment, and yeah, and I have seen cases where the adrenaline and the instinct of survive, I think that is that makes us react in a way that probably if we're not in that situation, we cannot believe that we can do that. So yeah, it's impossible, and it's incredible. Sorry, and I think that at the end, it's just the instinct of survive.
Yeah, this instinct of survival is just so strong. According to Sigmund Freud, is our first instinct in life, and we based our entire life trying to survive, and that's why we seek food, we seek shelter, we seek someone to mate with, to continue with the species. So the instincts are what drive our lives most of the time. But the question then is it only instincts, or we rationalize the instincts and give them a name, and then we say, oh, we're very logical. Oh, I'm very intellectual. Oh, I'm very. But it's only giving a shape to our instincts. Or is it true that we're also logical, thinking, rational people? What do you think about that, Mickey?
Well, probably it's a mix, different factors. Um, I think that in occasions our body responds in a way that that we cannot believe, um, but I think that at the end, our mind make like an analysis of the situation, and I think that this analysis, uh, it's so it's so quickly that in occasions we don't notice, but at the end, I think that um, the reason why we respond or we react depending on the situation is because our mind did an analysis, and the adrenaline and different um, and different compounds well make that your body or you react in a certain way or in another. But to be honest, I'm not pretty informed how it works. I just know that sometimes adrenaline makes us do things that we don't believe that we are um, that we can make.
Right. Well, that's a very very interesting and topical comment. For example, talking about intuition, we know that intuition is normally innate and rapid. It's a quick response to events, to problems, right? Let's see what the book says about intuition. Please, let's see if you agree with these two ideas. Mickey, please, can you read them, please?
Yeah, intuition, fast and automatic. Intuition involves quick, automatic, and unconscious processing of information. It is often associated with gut feelings, hunches, or instinctive reactions. And based on experience, intuitive judgments are influenced by past experience, knowledge, and pattern recognition. This allows individuals to make rapid decisions without consciously analyzing every detail.
What do you think of this, Mickey? What's your opinion about these definitions?
Yeah, of course, there are the different ways uh, to respond to uh, certain scenarios, certain things. Um, and I think that the way in how we respond obviously is based on our experience. For example, if we know more or less how, I don't know, uh, any scenario, we know how this scenario could affect us. Well, we can respond depending of of our experience or the experience that we know from other people. And in other occasions, the adrenaline just act in automatic and fast. And I think that uh, we process that information, but probably we're not conscious that we're processing. We just react because our body responds in that way, and yeah. But but it's so interesting, and I would like to know more about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What you say makes a lot of sense. You can say that when we look for a job, well, if you've been looking for a job, you're going to gain experience with every interview. If looking for shelter, if you have been looking for a place to stay, how to rent an apartment, how to rent a house, how to rent a room, how to rent a hostel, if you are looking for a mate also, well,
Hmm.
you go to parties, you go to events, you go to family events, etc. You meet people, you learn how to make friends or how to mate with a person that you appreciate, like, and respect. If you are looking uh, to uh, be healthy, I mean, you can be looking for lots and lots of things, right? But
Hmm.
each of these requires to acquire experience and sometimes
Yeah.
you'll succeed, sometimes we will fail, right? That's human nature.
Hmm.
But in the process you acquire what? You acquire experience, and then the next time you will do a much better job, a much better task, by basing your decisions on experience, right? So as you say, it's truly truly interesting. And as opposed to this, we have what we call rational thinking. Are we so rational? Well, the book says that yes, we are rational. Let's read this, please. Mickey, can you?
Rationality, slow and
Yes,
deliberative.
please.
Rational thinking is slower, more deliberate process that involves conscious and logical reasoning. It requires deliberate analysis and consideration of evidence and facts. Logic and reasoning, rational decision making, involves the use of logic, reasoning, and critical thinking. It aims to evaluate information, weigh pros and cons, and arrive at a well thought out conclusion.
Exactly. So what's your idea of this, Mickey? What would make a very rational person that's deliberative, as it says?
Yeah, I think that it is necessary to try to use different ways of reacting depending on the situation. There are situations that you need to respond uh, fast and almost automatic, but in occasions it is necessary to be rational and see the different pros and cons that certain decision making makes in you or in others on in what you're making the decision. And and yeah, you need to do an analysis, and I know that there are certain decisions that we need to be rational and not just react.
Right. There is an exercise that I like to give to my chess students. I give them a position in chess, any position,
Hmm.
and then I ask them, okay, don't analyze the situation. Just think of the best move, but instantaneously. Don't make the move, of course, but just think, what
Hmm.
did you do in this situation? And don't think, just intuitively think of it. And they do that, right? They say, oh, let's bishop g5 or king e2 or queen goes here, etc. All right. So let's quit. Okay, let's quit here. And then they say their move, but they have 5 seconds, no more than that. And then we say, well, now let's analyze the situation, analyze the safety of the king, analyze the possibilities of the queen, analyze this and that. And then they start doing the rational analysis. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them have a coincidence. The first idea that came to their mind was the right decision. Some others, of course, who lack a bit of experience, maybe they were not aware of a threat or a knight or a pin or a fork that a piece was attacking two pieces. It's something they missed, and until they analyzed it rationally. So what you're saying, Mick, is absolutely essential that you combine the intuition and the analysis, the deliberative analysis or critical thinking
Yeah.
to fully understand what situations demand an intuition. Well, of course, there are many, right? Which demand rational analysis or critical thinking, and which ones are suitable for both intuition and rational thinking. What do you think, Mickey?
um, well, for example, I think that if you are entering to a new business, or it's a business that you don't know, then necessary to think uh, in a rational way, because it's not like something that just you're entering, that's all. You need to be involved in that business, you need to work in that business, and or at the moment that you are uh, applying to a different job or a new job, I think that there are certain things that you need to analyze, and it's not just to respond. You must do an analysis, and I think that in both uh, in both cases it is necessary to use the intuition too. I think that, for example, when you are entering to a business, and I don't know, in occasions, you think that the people who is inviting you to the business gives you like a bad, how can I say it? Um,
But
like,
hunch.
yeah, like a bad hunch. I think that in occasions it is necessary to use your intuition, because sometimes our intuition could save us of different things. And yeah, of course, not react just for intuition. You need to do an analysis, see the pros, the cons, and at the end make your decision.
That is crucial. And it's amazing how, in particular, well, in my case, older people have this hunch, have this feeling of suspicion about someone else. Sometimes my mother, for example, she says, I don't like that person. Oh, mother,
Mhm.
he or she is a fantastic human being, this and this. And then she says, yeah, but there is something I don't like. And it's just a hunch. Well, 9 out of 10 turns out that she was right. Uh, and the opposite is also true. Sometimes she says, what a wonderful person. I said, oh, mom, why do you say that? No, no, no. He's a great guy or she's a great lady. And then you say, well, it could be, but I'm not so sure. And then the days pass, the months pass, the years pass. And then you realize that she was right. Don't you know people like that, Mickey?
Yeah, and that's why I say that it's important to do an analysis and not only response by your intuition. In occasions, I have met people that I that I believe that they are not the best people that that exist, but then when you really know them, your your opinion about them could completely change, or in a positive. In occasions, we think that that one person is incredible, and then when you really know that person, your opinion change. So it is important to obviously use our intuition in some occasions, but at the end, if we can do an analysis and we can be more rational, obviously use that resource.
Okay, that's a very important comment. Let me ask you a question, Mickey. Can sometimes us or betray us? That you say, "Oh, I was thinking this about this person, however, I was wrong." So, can intuition lead us astray or betray us? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that that's
Let's
why
read.
it is important.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Go.
no, sorry. Yeah,
No, no,
I
go
think
go.
that
No, no. Tell me your comment, please first.
yeah, that's why I think that it's important uh, to to recognize that in occasion the intuition is a little bit, how can I say, like limited, and in occasions we
Limited.
need to use uh, or rational thinking, because we know that it's slower, but when you have that rational thinking, I think that it's easier that you don't fail in comparison, that you just use your intuition, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Let's read this and let's see what the book says about why intuition can sometimes lead us astray or betray us. Let's read why, please. Can you, Mickey, please?
Hmm. Intuition can sometimes lead us astray or betray us, and it is important to recognize the limitations of intuitive thinking. While intuition can be a valuable and quick decision making tool, it is not infallible, and there are several factors that can contribute to its potential pitfalls.
Which can these factors be that make our intuition fail? That you say, oh, but I normally have a very good intuition. Yeah, but sometimes it can betray us or fail us. Which are some of the elements that make us have a wrong judgment or too quick?
Well, I think that in occasions we respond or we react depending of our experience. And in occasion, I think that intuition is related to our experiences, and that's why we choose one thing to other. And and I think that in that sometimes intuition could be, as we mentioned, limited, and it's like, oh, I think that this person would react in that way, and it didn't, and and that's why I think that it's important to use both ways of thinking, the rational and the intuitive thinking.
Right, exactly. There is a phrase that I read very long time ago, and is based on stereotypes that we have. Well, everyone has their own stereotypes.
Mhm.
Let's read this for a moment, Mickey, please. Can you? And then I'll make a small comment about this.
Biases and stereotypes. Intuition can be influenced by unconscious biases and stereotypes that we may not be aware of. These biases can lead to quick judgments that are not based on accurate information.
Yeah, the typical case is that we tend to associate beauty with goodness. So, and that's a stereotype that we normally have, right? So, how often we associate beauty with goodness? We tend to think, and that's a stereotype, and it's wrong actually. We think sometimes, well, that's a stereotype that some people have. I had that when I was young. That if the person was pretty, was beautiful, if the woman was beautiful, her she was gonna be a good person, and it's not. There is no correlation. It can be not very pretty or an ugly lady. Let's ugly in the stereotypes, which the word is not nice, but let's say it's not your best the
Looking
person,
person.
the best looking person, right? Yeah, but then you associate goodness with beauty and ugliness or lack of this charisma, this exactly with badness, right? And that's wrong. That's a stereotype. There are people who are extremely, extremely good people, and they are not necessarily the best looking people. And the opposite is true. There may be people who are very good looking and not necessarily being extremely, extremely good or kind or polite or even ethical, right?
Yeah.
But there is this tendency because that's based on our unconscious biases. This is just
Mhm.
one example, but there may be many, many other examples. Have you seen, Mickey, these stereotypes or biases, inclinations towards something which is unconscious in people, friends, classmates, or someone?
Yeah, of course. I remember in university, there was a lady who was a good-looking girl, and sometimes I think that we make the mistake that we think in how probably she will think, and you create like an idea, and it's probably in occasions your idea it's completely wrong, and well, passing the years, passing the semesters, we noticed that this girl, yeah, she was a good-looking girl, but inside of her was not what we were expecting. So yeah, obviously I have seen this case, and vice versa. You probably see one person is like, well, I'm not gonna criticize him or her, but in occasions, the way how people really are can make us can give us for surprises, and that's why it is important to don't judge before really meet a person.
Exactly, exactly. Very good comment. That's incredibly important. But that influences our intuition, unfortunately. And so we make bad judgments or we make bad decisions based on a wrong intuition because the intuition is based on biases and stereotypes, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah.
okay. Another aspect that influences our intuition is emotional influence. Can we read this, Mickey, please?
Yeah. Emotional influence. Strong emotions can cloud our judgment and affect intuitive decision making. When we're emotional, our intuitive responses may be driven by feelings rather than objective analysis.
Yeah. Why is this so important to distinguish this characteristic of people? Why do you think this is important, Mickey?
Uh, I think that it's so important because in occasions, I think that people tend to respond or react uh, using their emotions, and I think that it's important to have a control over emotions because in occasions our own emotions can affect our decision making, and that's why it is important to be rational.
Okay. Now, do you say control our emotions, which is easy to say, but maybe for you, maybe for me, it's more or less
Uh,
easy to control our emotions. let's say, let's
in
say,
occasions.
in occasions, okay. How do people control their emotions? Do you repress them, or do you give them a slow flow, or do you choose a moment and place? How do people control their emotions?
Yeah, I think that the best way to do it is to, first of all, I think that it's important to not deny our emotions,
Oh,
uh,
okay. Okay.
understand their emotions, and try to canalize them. As you mentioned, it is important. For example, if something makes me feel angry, probably I'm not gonna fight with that person or whatever. But I know that I'm angry, and probably that I'm angry, and probably I need to canalize this emotion in another moment, and probably doing another activity, going to the gym. I don't know, going to a boxing class, whatever that makes me in a way like deliberate the emotion that I felt in that moment. I think that it's important to try to control our emotions. I know that it's, as you mentioned, it's easy to say but difficult to do. But at the end, I think that with practice, I think that it's possible.
Right. When you are self-aware of this situation, it's much easier to control your emotions, right?
Hmm.
This is called self-awareness. And let's see what the book says about self-awareness. Please, can you read this, Mickey? Please.
Yeah, recognize and identify your emotions. Understand what you are feeling and why you might be feeling that way. Pay attention to physical sensations associated with emotions, such as tension, rapid heartbeat, or shallow breathing.
Shallow
Hmm.
breathing is like
Breathing.
when you breathe shallowly and quickly, right? And that can be an uneasy and not very nice sensation. But well, that's something that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so emotional influence is important. Now, sometimes we have limited information, and that can be a burden to having a good intuition, right? Let's see if we can read
Hmm.
this, Mickey, please. Can you?
Limited information. Intuition often relies on heuristics or mental shortcuts. In situations where information is incomplete or ambiguous, relying solely on intuition may result in incomplete or inaccurate conclusions.
However, it is impossible to have complete information. So, how do you make an assessment, an evaluation, an appraisal of a situation, a decision you need to make if you don't have the complete information and you still need to decide?
Uh, we're thinking in a decision making that we must do at the moment, or
Well, let's say not necessarily at the moment, but you need to make a decision sooner or later, right? You need to engage in a degree. You need to do a
Mhm.
you need to expand your business. You need to make a decision sooner or later. You may wish to make an alliance with a partner or reject an offer. I mean, there are so many decisions we make in life that it's not all, yeah, you try to seek as much information as possible, but not always. You will not always have all the whole information, but yet you need to decide how do you make that decision making? How do you make that decision?
Yeah, first of all, I think that it's important to understand that yeah, we don't have probably enough knowledge of certain topic, and I think that it's uh, it's something important to always have like how can I say, like a student mind. I know that there are things that I can know of different people and probably of people that that I wouldn't imagine, and I always try to learn something about all people. First of all, understand that we have limited information and there's always something new to learn. And, and for example, I think that in occasions it is important uh, to get help of other people. I would say that probably people who have the
Right.
experience. For example, if I'm making a business and I know a person who made the business in the past, obviously he can give me an advice and probably his or her advice will make me do the right decision. So
Okay.
so yeah, I think that try to search in different source informations, and if we have or we met a person who can help us in that moment, why don't use it, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, that is incredibly, incredibly smart. Yeah, you look for the people who can give you valid information or not valid information, who have had the experience, the test of time, and they can give you the best advice. That's a very wise decision. But we also sometimes are overconfident. We are sometimes overconfident. Um, why is this important? Can you read the paragraph, Mickey, please?
People may become overconfident in their intuitive judgments, believing them to be more accurate than they actually are. Overconfidence can lead to poor decision making and a failure to consider alternative perspectives.
So, what do you think about this overconfidence? It may be good, but sometimes can lead us astray, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Uh, As a past example, I think that it's important always to keep. I don't know. There's a word in Spanish. It's called mente de aprendizaje, and and we need to understand that. Um, in occasions we don't know about something, and it's okay, and we always open to learn whatever of whoever it's to. I think that in occasions we have stereotypes, as we mentioned, and and in occasions we don't care about the opinion of other people. But at the end, I think that all people can teach us something different and try to use their experiences and obviously their opinions too to make our own assessment and try to do a decision making the most accurate possible.
Okay, yeah, that is incredibly important. Another top, thank you, Mickey. Another
Hmm.
topic which is crucial is cognitive biases, and this that doesn't mean that we don't have the information. What it means is that we have information, but the information is biased, is influenced by our education, our religion, our society, our country. There can be many things that influence our behavior, and we have what is called cognitive biases. Can you uh, go through the text, Mickey, please?
Yeah, cognitive biases. Various cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias, seek information that confirms pre-existing beliefs, or availability bias, relying on readily available information, can influence intuitive thinking and lead to errors.
Right. I remember a funny situation about this confirmation, right? I think I told you guys this anecdote. I was the co-pilot of a guy that was driving a van, and he was distracted because when he chatted, he turned to me like this, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and he got distracted from the traffic. So
Hmm.
one day there was this uh, cyclist, right, who was driving his bicycle, and my friend got distracted and he hit him. And the guy who was driving the bicycle, riding the bicycle, did not see obviously didn't see the, the van coming, the truck.
Hmm.
He pushed him. So my neighbor, he says, "What's the van? I'm running away," and he ran away. The poor guy fell to the ground. So I was the co-pilot. I went down of the truck of the van and went to see him. And I told him, "Are you okay?" And he was almost knocked out. So I stopped a pedestrian who was walking. I told him, "Look, let's look for an ambulance. This guy has been hit." And we called the ambulance, but in 2 minutes, the policeman arrived in a motorcycle. The first thing that the policeman asked the guy on the floor was, because he saw me standing. So he thought that I was the driver. And
Hmm.
so he asked the man in the ground, in the floor, "Is he the man?" And then the guy on the ground said, "Yes, he is." So the policeman said to me, I will have to detain you." Oh man, that made me upset, very upset,
Of course, yeah.
because the man in the ground did not even see the van. How could he see the pilot, and how could see who the co-pilot was, right?
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
The pilot ran away, and
Uh-huh.
so he was giving confirmation on something that was wrong.
Hmm.
But the question of the policeman was worse, because he says, "Is he?" He also thought that I was the man who was driving, right?
Hmm.
So I said, "Well, you know what? I was the co-pilot, but I'm running away too." And so I stopped the taxi and said, "Well, I just hope he doesn't shoot me from the back," right? And I took the taxi and I left.
You ran away too?
I took a taxi and I left. Yeah, because I said, "How can you stop me? How can you detain me if I'm the only one who's giving help to this guy?" I was not driving the van. I was the co-pilot, and I
Hmm.
stopped a taxi, and then I told him, uh,
Let's go.
"Let's go." Yeah, but I got really upset for the
Yeah.
whole situation, right?
Hmm.
But this is the case, right? You seek information that confirms a pre-existing belief. The policeman thought that I was a pilot, so he asked the man in the ground for confirmation. And the man in
Hmm.
the ground, who did not even see the truck, much less the pilot, much less me, gave confirmation. He said, yes, right? Uh, so it can lead to mistakes.
Yeah,
You ask someone who is not capable of giving confirmation, hey, is this correct? For example, I'm going to connect two cables of electricity, and then I ask a guy from the street, hey, is this the correct way of connecting the cables? He says, yeah, it is. And then I create a short circuit.
yeah, yeah. That is true. We need to. Um, we need to see of who's of who's the response and if this person has the experience or not. And yeah, as we mentioned, make our own analysis of the situation and response as we think that is the best way.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. That's very important, Mickey. And the last one is cultural and social influences. I'm sure that you are well versed in this because we live in a specific society, we live with a specific culture here in the city. So, what do you think about this, Mickey? Can you please go through the text, please?
Cultural and social influences. Cultural and social norms can shape intuition, and individuals may unconsciously adopt beliefs or judgments that align with prevailing cultural attitudes.
What do you think of this?
Yeah, of course. For example, I think that uh, in occasions we think in that way, uh, using the basis that we have. For example, in this case, our city. I don't know if, for example, we happened to me. I don't know if it's something good or not, but what happens to me, and when I listen to an ambulance, something like that, normally I try to I try to don't think bad things, but at the end, probably unconsciously, I think that I don't know, it was an accident or a shooting or something like that, and it's because uh, my intuition is based in what I saw and what I normally listened or the news that are in my city and yeah, in occasions is based in that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. How can you become, or how can we become more objective and try not to be influenced by the culture of the place or the societal norms that affects our judgment and sometimes our intuition, Mickey? How can we do that?
Could you repeat, teacher? My cat
Yeah,
is
how
screaming.
can we? Yeah, it's running, right?
Yeah, Ronnie.
Only. How can we avoid this influence from cultural and societal norms, and so that our intuition is, let's say, clean, if that is possible at all, and not being influenced by the norms of the society and of the culture of the place can have in our decisions, in our conclusions or judgments.
Mm, well, I think that using the different analysis in occasions, I think that is related a little bit with intuition. I think in that way because that's we have seen or that's we have heard, and in occasions I think that it's important to be more rational and try to not respond just according with the things that we have saw or listened. Using analysis, using rational thinking, and trying to not uh, just react. You know, I think that in some occasions it is important to use your 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 intuition and just react. But if we have the opportunity to be more rational, to think more about the situation, I think that is the best way to do a decision making.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that is actually what the book suggests us here. Let's read the conclusion of this chapter, what it says. Please, Mickey. It's exactly what you said with other words.
It's important to strike a balance between intuition and rational thinking. Being aware of the potential limitations of intuition and actively engaging in critical thinking can help mitigate the risks associated with intuitive decision making. Additionally, seeking additional information, considering alternative perspectives, and being open to resisting initial intuitions can contribute to more well informed and reliable decision making processes. Yeah.
Right. It's just what you were saying, right? So let me ask you, you have had an initial hunch, an initial feeling of uneasiness. You're not easy, you're not comfortable with a situation, and then you analyze it coldly, um, rationally, with cold blood, and then you conclude that no, it's a good decision. This is actually perfect. This is actually valid. This is actually good, positive. Have you
Mhm.
had a situation like that?
Yeah, for example, happened to me the last week. Uh, we're gonna start in the master's degree, presenting a topic, and we were the fit team to express. So we would to present. Sorry, so we will present until 3rd of February, I think, and we decided to change the date for the first team. So we're gonna present the next Saturday. And at the beginning, we were like, "Oh my God, why we did that?" But at the end, we saw the different uh, with a different uh, perspective, and we determined that it's good because at the end we are free the rest of the of the quadrimesters. I think that when it's the first team, um, normally teachers are like more accessible if you fail in something because you are the first in doing that. And in comparison, if we were the last, probably the teacher will be more strict because obviously we have saw the other presentations, we can see uh, things to improve. But at the end, I think that it's a good decision, and we're gonna present the next Saturday.
Okay, that's an intelligent conclusion, actually, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that and apart of that, I think that more or less we can lose like this fear to present in front people. So I think that it's better if we have the the opportunity to do it right now or do it the next Saturday in this case. Well, why don't take it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, very good, Mickey. Another situation that you remember in which your intuition was actually good, that you said, well, I have this hunch, I have this feeling, but I'm not totally
Mhm.
clear about that. I'm not totally sure. So I'm going to analyze it. And then you conclude that your initial feeling was actually correct. Any
Mhm.
idea, any memories of that?
Well, yeah, I think that when I started selling in Amazon, obviously I needed to invest in different products, and at the beginning I was sure because I was like excited and I was uh, just thinking in a positive way, and I invest a good quantity of money, and then I was expecting that probably my my stock were sold in 2 or 3 days, and it wasn't in it wasn't like I was expecting, but at the end it took just 2 weeks, and at the end, well, my intuition was good. Obviously it wasn't so fast as I was thinking, but I sold my stock, and everything was good at the end, and I think that it's important sometimes to, as we mentioned, to use our intuition, and yeah, in occasions our decision making could be correct.
Right. Sometimes you might fail, right? I might fail, but anyhow you decide to take the risk. Why is that?
Yeah.
How do you mitigate the risk? How do you assess the risk? How do you, I mean, you still go for it. I might fail, but anyways I'll do it. Why? How? I mean,
Yeah, I think that it's important to be aware that in occasions we're gonna be right, and in occasions just just don't, and and it's okay. At the end, I think that we can learn of any situation, we can learn of our mistakes, and And obviously we try to avoid failing, but at the end we are human beings, we make mistakes, and the most important is to learn about our mistakes.
Right. How can you minimize the risks that you say, well, I'm going to take a little risk. I might lose, but I minimize this. How do you minimize that? Well, you may say, I'm going to invest, but not very much. I'm going to try this for a short period of time. I'm going to give it a try. Possibly it will fail, but I'm going to take the risk. How do you venture in that, Mickey?
Yeah, I think that at the end it is important to take risk. I think that it is important to see what could happens instead of saying, "Oh, I would like to did that and I didn't." So I think that in occasions it's important to take risk. Be aware that probably we can fail in some occasions, but in others we can win. And if we win, obviously it's great. And if we don't, obviously we're gonna learn something important. I'm sure about it.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, Mickey. Well, I just want to thank you for today's talk. It's, as usual, very interesting, very profound, and very
Thank you,
useful
teacher.
too. I mean, I hope it is useful for you, but I'm telling you that it's useful for me too because it makes me think
Of course, yeah,
and understand many concepts as well.
yeah, and you can when you see the different analysis, you can in occasions see yourself in how will you respond depending of your way of thinking, of your intuition, of your rational thinking, and it's important to sometimes understand the biases. So yeah, of course, I always enjoy to talk with you, teacher.
Thank you very much, Mickey. Same here. Well, so remember that tomorrow I have my colloquium at Thursday and Friday, so I will not be able to teach the class until Monday. So we still are 2 classes behind, right? That we need to
Yes,
recover,
teacher.
I believe.
Yeah, 2 classes. Yeah, it's okay.
So,
So the next week, it's okay. Don't worry, teacher.
okay, Mickey. Well, take care. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy your weekend. Say hello to the family, Mickey.
You too, teacher. Thank you for your time. Take care.